The following video was captured by two friends as they were driving through an area close to the Aokigahara forest, which is still frequently visited by those who choose this forest to go on their very last journey, if you know what I mean. And it's to nobody's surprise that people say to see ghosts and other paranormal sightings there on the regular. However, the two friends didn't notice anything in particular at the time. Nothing but a blurry object that seemed to hover close to their car. It would appear that their dashcam captured an eerie pair of legs floating in the sky, slowly but surely closing in on their car, and as mentioned, they didn't see these legs in much detail. They thought to have seen a mass, which is why they checked the recording, but it's pretty clear that this might be something otherworldly. What do you think? Was this one of the many spirits which is still visiting this haunted forest? Now we are taking a look at some CCTV footage, which stems from an old sewer tunnel system located somewhere in Europe. The story goes that a lot of sketchy stuff was going on in these systems back in the day, and that to this day workers still see the eerie outlines of spirits down there. Apparently, the following footage is showing us one of these instances. A woman seems to appear at the end of the sewer tunnels, but also the light flickers just moments before she appears on camera. That's quite strange. And as mysteriously as she appears, she vanishes. Only moments after that, there is a dark shadow that is making it towards the end of the tunnel as well. Which is pretty inexplicable to many. What do you think happened here? I couldn't say, to be honest. Jacob had recently got a hold of a supposedly haunted jester clown doll. How? It is said that he inherited the old house of his late grandmother, and the doll came with it. Interested in occult objects, he kept it in his bedroom at night. Crazy, I know. And not long after, he felt that something was extremely wrong with the doll, which caused him to store it in a different room. This particular night, he woke up to some really terrifying noises from outside of his room, and he started recording.
I just heard banging.
Jacob ends the video abruptly and states that he spent the night locked in his room. He wasn't willing to spend another terrifying night like that and decided that it probably would be best to keep this doll, which he calls Jeffrey, in the basement from now on.
With whatever happened last night, I don't want him near me. And in general, I think I'm just scared. I'm gonna be putting him in the basement, so I'm gonna follow up after I get that done. Alright guys, this is the results so far. I'm gonna leave him here for now, but I think I'm gonna put a camera here. Jeffrey's still here, so we're gonna see if there's anything I miss.
From that night on, Jacob caught several really strange encounters down there in the basement. Weird shadow movement, for which he had no explanation for. Eventually, he decided that it would be smart to have a rotating camera stand to cover more angles of the basement and to make sure that he wouldn't miss any more creepy encounters taking place down there. Something moved the doll's arm, and then we hear the light bulb pop for inexplicable reasons. Jacob is sure that this is due to the possession of his doll, and that the creepy activity will continue. I can't wait to see what happens next. The following is another pretty unsettling video captured by a young couple from Michigan. They also seem to have gotten a visit from something really creepy. One night they saw something frightening appear right in front of their little daughter's crib, and they were sure that it was nothing positive.
It scares us that it could do something else. I mean, there was even a morning that I woke up and I had felt like something was around like someone's hands were around my neck.
Something clearly was walking in front of the crib that night, scaring the young family. They stated that the most important thing for them was to get rid of whatever was creeping out their little daughter. I wonder if they were able to. The following is an exploration from Exploración MX, an urban explorer who loves adventures to abandoned caves, tunnels, and even cemeteries. Tonight he made it into an old abandoned mine tunnel system, and while recording and explaining his viewers all the different things that he could capture this night, something quite eerie unfolded.
Bueno, aquí vamos a ir hacia la izquierda. Y bueno, estoy pensando a ver si no está... ¿Qué se escucha? ¿Escucharon eso? Ahí está, ¿lo escuchan? Es como un silbido. No, creo que mejor voy a...
Exploración MX had no idea what made those creepy whistling noises at the time. And then it sounded like something was dragging on the tunnel floor. A bit too much for the man, and he decided to search for the exit right after. Some people think that this might have been an animal perhaps. Do you think this could be true? This video shows a young man who was on his way back home from work the following night. He states that his helm camera always records for security purposes and that this route felt always super spooky to him, especially at night. Apparently, there are many local tales about ghostly hitchhikers that can be seen on some parts of these extremely old roads. And as fate would have it, he might have experienced such an occurrence himself. What's pretty strange is that whatever we are seeing here appeared twice on the road, as some might suggest it could have been just somebody walking on the road. It's not clear why anybody would do this in pitch darkness, but people can be weird. Why our driver would come across this thing twice though seems to maintain a mystery. What's your explanation? Speaking of old historic places, time to see what our night guard Bailey has been up to lately. He works in an old theater and makes sure that nobody is intruding on the premises after closing hours. If you remember, he has captured a few eerie shadow encounters in the past. Like many times before, he could hear some inexplicable noises coming from different rooms in the back area of the theater. And this is when he started recording.
This is the basement. This is the green room. Anyone in here? Guess I can turn on the light. Hello? Alright. Wig room. Anyone in here? The bathroom.
The shower turns on and sends chills up my spine.
Whoa. Someone's in here. Yo, it's midnight. You...
Phone starts to glitch.
Someone behind that. Okay. All right. Let's see. There's gotta be somebody down here.
To nobody's surprise, Bailey did not find anybody that could have done this. He sometimes works with a colleague that, in his mind, could have easily turned on the shower and the lights, but he wasn't working that night. However, maybe something else was with Bailey in the shower area. Something that went unnoticed.
Okay.
A viewer pointed this black object out, and Bailey said that no black object should have been placed there, so they were not sure if this could have been another shadow encounter. But he went live on his Instagram the night after, and might have captured another glimpse of the shadows that are dwelling in this theater. hard to say what exactly this was, but if it wasn't his colleague, then it's very plausible that something paranormal had happened here. Following videos are from a TikTok profile called Waweng, and I don't know if it is Indonesian or Malaysian perhaps, but he states that he documented some really intriguing events outside of his town, in the middle of the night of all things. Let's take a look. But what is going on here? Now, look at that again. There's like something grinning at him. Do you think that's what he caught here? A spirit? Now, the only thing that makes me a little bit more curious is, see the eyes reflecting? People say that this is not always happening with ordinary human people, so is this something else perhaps? It is creepy. And this is apparently the second entry on his video log. Now, this is somebody creepy in the cornfields. It's not really corn, but look like somebody creepy looking out of the jungle. This particular frame here looks like there's an unnatural smile going on. Might also just be the lighting not being really great, but following video was recorded by a young man who was passing by a pretty notorious apartment building in this area. Apparently, the building had to be evacuated for some kind of urgent renovation at the time. Besides that, there have been a few eerie incidents of shadow sightings on the hallways and the premises in general. And as the man passes by the building, he seems to have noticed something odd. A pale face can be seen, peeking at the driving car from behind the brick wall. It was pretty certain that nobody was on the premises at the time. And the weird color of the skin make many believe that this perhaps could have been one of the ghosts that is said to roam the building and perhaps the area. Is this possible? The following is another really odd but also terrifying recording. It was captured by a young man who was out to follow up on a local urban legend. He's very interested in urban exploration and a lover of the creepy side of things. So venturing to this abandoned place seemed like a really good idea to him. People believe that when you call for the spirit, which is said to be home to this area, you might be able to conjure it up. Of course, the man didn't really believe in this, and therefore went ahead. He stood in front of an old mirror and chanted the phrase. Then out of nowhere, this thing appears.
Buat semua penunggu yang ada di sini, tunjukkan eksistensi kalian melalui apapun itu. Tunjukkan bahwa alam kalian ada. Buat semua penunggu yang ada di sini, tunjukkan. Astagfirullahaladzim! Anjing! Suep anjing! Astagfirullahaladzim, 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 astagfirullahaladzim. Astagfirullahaladzim, astagfirullahaladzim.
Looks like a jinn or a ghost from Malaysian folklore. man bolted out of there as fast as he could after this. Pretty understandable, don't you think? Whatever jump scared him there gave him probably nightmares for a long time. Now we're going back to the cottage of Jen Barari, who also is documenting the terrifying haunting of her property for quite a long time now. Terrifying entities seem to show themselves more and more as of late. They love to hide in plain sight, and oftentimes Jen doesn't see them with her own eyes. Take a look at this thing.
Window, TV reflection. The f is that? Seriously, dude, that's f***ing crazy, bro.
Were these the eyes of a demon? On another night, Jen heard some unsettling noises stemming from across the cottage, out of the neighboring forest. And of course, she started to record this.
Oh, no. Oh, are you guys with me right now? Please tell me I'm not alone. You guys with me? Don't get posted. There's my daughter's room. It faces the fields, the back fields, and the trees. There's a light coming through. It's super weird. I swear I saw something. That light upstairs.
One night, she arrived back home late and noticed something from the outside.
That light wasn't on. What the f is that? Oh. Look at that shadow.
A shadow was standing right in front of the cottage. Unfortunately, it is unknown if she approached it at the time. But what we do know is that something else was captured that wasn't supposed to be there. Well, who knows what exactly is haunting her, right? Stay frosty, guys. The following unsettling videos were recorded from inside the car of Beth. She saw something creepy appear out of thin air right across the street in the woods. And of course she turned her camera on and started capturing this quite eerie event. She shared it with her friends and family at first, so she certainly wasn't looking for any attention.
Talia, get over here. I can't even zoom in any closer. You see it? It just walks back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I initially took the video to send it to my friend. He paces back and forth for hours and hours, not just for 20 minutes at a time. This is hours and hours and hours and days, weeks. I mean, here we are a month and a half later and it's been still there.
She states that this went on for over a month at this point, and that this shadow can mostly be seen from a distance only.
Where we see that figure, it just walks back and forth every day, all day. Now, I've been over there a couple of times. As I walk up on it, there's just nothing there.
It's quite baffling for sure. People suspected that it might have been a strange reflection from somewhere, while others think this to be impossible, or that somebody was playing a creepy prank. Whatever the answer, it's certainly a creepy incident. Now we are checking out another submission. The video was captured by a couple who was out the following day to go on a nice hiking trip in the mountains. It is said that several people had gone missing in this area over the years, so there's quite a bit of urban legends and ghost stories that people like to talk about. The trip went quite well, but after returning to their car, something quite scary unfolded, for what they had no explanation for. It looks like a person that is lying right on top of their car and staring into the windshield, but how's that possible? The couple was quite scared and drove away, as fast as they could, based on their reports. Did maybe somebody play a prank on them? If not, perhaps some well-done editing? Or did something otherworldly unfold here? Maybe one of the missing souls? This one is a strange video that was captured one night while two friends were traveling through a town. They were talking about an urban legend at the time of this video that states that a woman in white can be seen ever so often walking these exact streets and scaring people in the area for whatever reason. Of course, they didn't expect to see anything that night, but it would seem that they captured something at the time without realizing. After going over the recording, they saw this in the left mirror. Some say that this was the spirit that is said to roam these streets at night. Could this be? Whatever it is, looks actually pretty sinister in my opinion. And if it is not just video editing, maybe we are looking at a malevolent spirit here indeed. Another video, which was captured in Malaysia, and it seems a bit older, but I find it's pretty unsettling. It shows a nightly driver who states that he was driving through a lower populated area at the time. All of a sudden, he realized that there was a see-through person on the road. There clearly is somebody standing and stretching their arm towards the driver. Really strange. If it is anything paranormal is unknown, but something certainly doesn't feel right here. This thing seems semi-transparent. So, do we have to assume this is a ghost? Who can say? The following had been shared by a young man from Australia. He states that he was just taking a road through a forest area and that he heard pretty unsettling screams. And what makes all of it worse is that he saw a creature running in between the trees at the time and even popping up in front of his car. In shock, he brought the car to a stop for whatever reason and recorded the following. A pale figure is making its way over the road, and it looks quite awkward, to be honest. This could have been a regular person, perhaps trying to scare the cars that were passing by. However, based on the driver's report that he saw this thing running through the bushes and even passing him once, make this theory a bit unrealistic, but who can say for sure? The next clip was uploaded by Reddit user Kevin Editum. Kevin wrote this about the video. In August, we investigated an abandoned housing complex in West Jakarta, Indonesia. It was abandoned for about 20 years. It was rumored that this place is haunted because of dark magic that happened in the building over 100 years ago. In this video, we did a session of one cameraman and one man investigating one of the abandoned houses using a spirit box. They tried asking the ghost what happened, but no response, until the cameraman heard a noise behind him.
Ada kuntilanak nggak di sini? Udah berapa lama di sini?
When the cameraman pans back, a tall shadow can be seen in the corner of the doorway. An arm and a shoulder is visible, before the shadow disappears behind the wall. The figure appears to be around 6 feet tall, and even, potentially, looks to be headless. Kevin states that the shadow did not match any of the people present, or the clothing hanging on the wall. But what do you think? Is this a true shadow figure sighting?